to Jake Jackets. Gear up to fire the cannon and hit the ice with your host, Jay Ashdown and Jake Gehringer.
I mean, yeah, not much has happened.
No, nothing like majorly significant. I don't think there's been any major signings in the last 24 hours that would really upset an entire fan base of a sport. But...
an entire fan base of one particular team in a sport, or at least, yes, the sport at large. I don't know.
Nah.
But we do have some happy stuff we can talk about first-ish.
All right, what's the happy stuff?
The happy stuff is Kepi's. I mean, there were bright spots. There were bright spots to this first game.
There were bright spots in another 3-goal loss.
Gosh, I want to say it's your turn to go first.
It is my turn to go first. I mean, I'm just gonna go with the easy pick. I'll go with Line because it was the cool part about it, outside of the loss.
I mean, there were multiple guys we could go with still.
Yeah,
but yes, this is the obvious pick, right?
The takeaway from that game, outside of the loss, is how freaking cool it was to see Line and Rantanen both in their home country going toe to toe.
Hometown heroes.
Exactly. Rantanen obviously got the better because he had a hat trick and an assist.
I mean, we called it. He was just a moose out there.
Yeah, he's incredible. So
he's so good.
But yeah, I'll give it to Line.
I mean, the crowd erupted. Yeah. Wow. When Line just beamed it in there. It's a hell of a shot. And a perfect pick,
Mm-hmm.
Perfect Kepi. I'm gonna go with Jakub Voracek for finally ending the power play drought. Oh my god.
Yeah, that power play is lethal, ain't it?
1 for 32.
Well, you see, I only go on a month-by-month basis, so in November, that percentage looks a lot higher.
Yes, it does. But yeah, Jake's getting mine for finally ending the crazy, I still don't know what the hell's going on with this thing. Do you?
The power play?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's 20% in the month of November, so I think it looks great.
So, I mean, we talked about this last show with, Lars being the head of the power play under Torts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how that it just looked abysmal.
Yeah.
Who's running it now? Do we know? Is it Pascal?
I think it's Pascal, but
is it Pascal?
I'd have to check. But
because Bowler's a defensive coach, isn't he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Love of God. No offense to Jared Bull. Love the guy. I don't want him running the power play.
No.
If he's running the power play, it makes a hell of a lot of sense, and I'm not mad at Jared Bull. Whoever the hell gave him that job?
Probably Lars, if it was.
Yeah.
That's a whole other issue. But I do so.
The man running the power play for the New York Rangers, Cody McLeod. No,
is he coaching now?
No, I just pulled that out of my ass. Comparable.
Right. So yes, official Kepis are going to Line 8 and Voracek for their play, and I do want to give some honorable mentions to players first. Liam, because we thought it was his.
I've never seen that before.
That was a weird ass play, wasn't it?
Maybe we're trying to figure out whose stick in the crease knocked the puck in. There's two. It was I've never seen two guys in the slot both have the puck on their stick and score a goal.
Right? Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that happen.
That was wild.
And they went back and forth on it.
They're like, yeah, it's Corrales' goal. Actually, I think it's Foodie's. No, it's Corrales.
I really wish they would have just stuck with Liam.
Yeah.
to get his first NHL goal. That would have been great.
That's right, because he wasn't a freaking NHL
He doesn't
goal.
even, yeah.
Because his one goal came in the bubble, which is a playoff goal.
It technically doesn't count. Yeah, he
So,
doesn't have a regular season goal.
He doesn't. Yeah, so he doesn't have his first. Kind of funny.
Oh man, excuse me. It's early. We're having fun. We're waking up,
Yeah.
right? And I do want to give, as we're closing out Cappies, I want to give shout outs as we transition into, just talking about the Global Series. We have so many friends of ours that are over there.
Yeah, we got a lot over there.
We've got, obviously, we shouted out a lot the other day.
Danny's over there.
Danny's over there. Ellie's over there. Mike's over there. Shout out Mike Todd, the best in-arena announcer there is.
Yeah.
Kyle went with Danny, of course.
Yeah, of course.
So we got some artillery reps in there. And then obviously last show, we also shouted out Jeremy at Subjectively Speaking. What's up, Jer?
Hope you're doing well, Jer.
Hope they're all having fun. And there are a ton of guys. There are a couple of guys that I didn't even realize went. Shout out to Kevin, our resident Time Lord at Jackets Addicts. Yeah, Kevin's there.
That's awesome.
He met Rimmer and Jody there.
That photo of Rimmer and Jody was freaking awesome.
Oh yeah, the album cover thing.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. And shout out to Kat Dobbs too, the CMO.
Nice.
Who follows us, by the way, which you can too at JJ Jackets Pod.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, Kat's over there too. Catherine's there. I hope everybody's having a blast.
Yeah, outside of the hockey, I hope that it's a good time over there.
I mean, Danny was at did you see Danny's thread about the sauna this morning?
I did not. No, I literally woke up like a half hour ago, so I haven't looked at it.
That's totally fair. She apparently went through this whole like authentic Finnish sauna experience where it was like you go back and forth between a scalding hot sauna and then jumping into a freezing cold lake every 15 minutes.
Interesting.
I was like, huh?
Yeah.
But yeah,
I've never been in the sauna before, so I don't even have like an experience over it. So like,
yeah, I haven't even done one here in America, so can only imagine what it's like doing something that intense.
Yeah.
But yeah, as for the Global Series itself, obviously it didn't start off the way we wanted it to. Except for Patrick getting his goal.
I mean, what do we expect? Like, it's Colorado. They're really good, but I think more than anything, it's just it's the frustration of the continued bad starts.
Yes.
And then the team finds a way to pick up steam, pick up momentum during the game, and you go through all of the you go through everything to erase a 3-0 deficit.
Right. And
this, like,
how many of those? That's a whole league-wide issue.
Yeah.
Is just the multi-goal leads going like that.
Yeah, it's been an issue for years. And I think that's very much a product of this new style of NHL hockey that we've seen, like how much the game has changed in the last
scoring going up the way it has.
Yeah, and teams are so much better at the quick strike offense and being able to get those quick goals when they need them.
Right.
And I think that some teams are very much still trying to kind of figure out an identity with that. Like, are we the kind of team that wants to defend up 3-0?
Right.
Do we a team that wants to keep pushing up 3-0?
Right. And obviously you got to be able to have everybody play both sides of the puck.
Yeah.
In today's NHL.
In theory, like, you want to be able to be proficient offensively and defensively, but realistically, you have players on your team that aren't
do nothing but offense. Yeah.
And they're guys who don't think about offense; they only think about defense. So you have a mix there.
Yeah.
Every team has that, but it depends on your strategy and how you can perfect that art.
It has been interesting to see, like, because obviously, like, Columbus is off to a brutal start, and we'll talk about a couple of other slides that are surprising later.
Yeah, I mean they're the worst team in the league right now. Like just statistically speaking, that's the fact. Like they're
yeah. Yeah, and I mean we praised the defense for being better than we thought it was.
Yeah, it's like right now that it's an average defense, but we knew that average wasn't going to be good enough if goaltending is what it is right now, and it's like there's correlation there, isn't there? You're the worst team in the league, and you're getting by far the worst goaltending. There you go. There's the story.
The biggest position there is probably it's goaltending and then center, right?
Yeah,
probably.
And defense, like you need a number one defenseman. And look, we have Zach, and I love Zach,
but he's an offensive guy.
Yeah. So, we've talked about how the offense isn't up to snuff to what our expectations were. Mm-hmm. We talked about how we knew that the defense was going to be a work in progress, and that's all true. And the special teams isn't as good as we'd like it to be. The power play is the worst power play in the league. There you go, right there. There's your story. Worst goaltending in the league. Worst power play in the league. That's your recipe.
Right.
And, I don't know how much of this is 100% attributed to coaching. I know a lot of it is.
Don't worry, I'm listening. I'm just trying to see if we'll get any, like, updates from this morning. Like, if there are any changes. For the lineup and stuff. I know there are a couple. There are a couple. And that's let's
big. That right now, like you said.
Let's talk about Corpy right now.
I feel
huge.
Bad for him.
It's huge that he's back.
It is.
And we expected him to make a start.
Yeah, we knew this ahead of time that he was going to make a start, but I feel bad for Corpy, When you talk like I've said this multiple times. I've been very critical of the guy.
Yes, this has been a running theme throughout this entire show.
But I want the guy to succeed.
Of course.
And right now, I'm more concerned about how he's going to be asked to succeed. Mm-hmm. Because I don't think the highest of him as a goalie, but if he fails this season, I'm not sure it's his fault.
No. And just
a lot of pressure to put on this guy because he's going to step in. He's now got to be the guy.
Well, here's some context for you, and this is a couple of tweets that I'm just coming across from our buddy Mark. Columbus has now allowed 23 goals in their last 4 games.
Yeah,
that's almost 6 goals. Yeah, and for perspective, Vegas has allowed 23 goals this season in 12 games total.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And Logan Thompson and Aiden Hill are fantastic this year for them. And Logan Thompson,
they're second in the league, right behind Boston. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That just goes.
The game is much more than goaltending, obviously. Like just because you have a goaltender doesn't mean you're going to be a great team and win the Stanley Cup. Prime example: the Winnipeg Jets have had such a very, very small amount of success, considering the fact that they've got
Connor Hellebuck,
goalie in Connor Hellebuck in hockey.
Top 10, yeah, easy.
I think top 4.
Oh, he's got to be at least 5. Yeah.
So like. He's really good and don't win anything. So obviously, like goaltending is not the only thing in hockey, but sometimes you can just look at goaltending and be like, there it is. There's other issues with this team, but again, you're 3-8.
863, Jay.
Yeah.
Like we talked about this again. We just talked about this 3-ish days ago. Elvis isn't cutting it right now.
Tissue in net. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know how you win games like that.
And I love the guy.
I do too.
Love him to death.
But again, and I said it last episode, and I very much stayed true to the opinion that I don't see it here.
It's going to be nice to see Corpy play because obviously this is his first action of the season.
First
Which
night
is
in quite some time.
this
And
is great that it's in his freaking hometown.
yeah,
Or at least home country.
I'm holding out hope for him because last year's numbers were terrible, but it sounds to me like there is legitimate truth to him not being close to 100% that season.
Let me just make a quick correction. It's Tampere, right? Not Helsinki. Because I said Helsinki last show.
Idiot.
I know. I never was great with geography. But yeah. So Jonas in net, and according to Svo, he feels absolutely no pain now.
Good.
Which he has felt in the last couple of years. Which good. I mean, I kind of got this from Kyle.
Yeah.
You know, that he that's at least where I came across it from Kyle. That he's been, you know, I thought that this was a lingering thing.
Yeah.
And it's you know, all the way from 2020.
Yeah.
From New Year's.
And
that's what I thought.
Yeah, this is the beauty of them taking their time with this. Is they're telling you that they're really hoping that with all this extra time off for him and taking their time to let him recover, that this will be a worthwhile wait.
Yes.
And unfortunately for the Blue Jackets, frankly, if you're going to save the season, which I don't think you're going to, just honestly, I know we're only 11 games in. I don't think you're saving this. This
is a really weird position to be in after the offseason that we just had.
It is. It's a really weird position that right now you're only 11 games in and you need a savior. And the only savior that you can really rely on at this point is Jonas Korpisalo, which I think is really unfair to him.
It's unfair to put so much on his back right away after everything that he's gone through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, come in. Hey, welcome back, Corpy. Awesome that you're back. Love you. Hey, be our savior, please, for the love of God.
And he was supposed to be the savior, like when Bob went down years ago.
Yeah, he was supposed to be the savior when Bob left, and for the most part, that first season
he carried the burden.
Yeah, he actually did.
And then he goes down.
Right, he goes down, and Elvis comes in, and we know the history of it.
Uh-huh.
I had a thought, and I'm not sure if I mentioned it last show. I think I mentioned the idea of looking at a potential trade for Elvis. And
you did say something to that for him.
Yes, for him. A trade for Elvis Merzlikins almost certainly would have to bring back a very, very similar contract if you're not giving up significant pieces to deal the contract.
I mean, he's evolving into a bona fide starter. Like, that's what his role's supposed to be.
That was, yes, that he was supposed to be a starting goaltender in the NHL. And it's not working this year. You almost certainly would have to trade for another goalie who's also struggling.
I mean, you got to get back what you're... I mean, like, the whole thing is, like, getting back... It's a reclamation project kind of deal, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Because
poor
Tara... Yeah. I feel so bad for Tara having to...
He shouldn't be here.
No.
It's a lot of unnecessary pressure on him, too. He shouldn't be here. He should be in Cleveland working on his game, taking his time to get up here.
Exactly.
And that's not his fault.
And that just makes me feel bad for Kajan, like by proxy with the monsters.
My thought is, if you're looking for another goalie who has a similar contract, that way you're not giving up extra pieces or anything like that.
Yeah.
Is in a similar situation, but at least has a previous track record of success.
Mm-hmm.
Does Philip Grubauer not fit that mold?
I want to say yes.
I think he fits exactly it. They have the same term left. They have 5 years left on their contracts.
Mm-hmm.
Elvis makes 5.4 against the cap. Philip makes
Oh,
5.9.
I was gonna say, yeah, he's like right around 6.
So only 500,000 difference there. You might actually be able to not have to give up any extra assets because A, Elvis is younger, and
Right.
B, slightly less expensive.
Maybe a late pick if Seattle wants it. Like,
I think that might be your best bet because I was thinking about like the pot, like who else is struggling? Well, Cal Peterson's struggling, but Cal Peterson only has 2 years left on his deal, and he's making $4 million.
he's also like, you know, he's supposed to be heir apparent, and
Yeah,
he can't do it right now.
yeah. So, and Quick hasn't been much better, so that's very much factoring into LA's lack of success.
He passed Carey Price.
So yeah, I was thinking about Cal Peterson, but you'd be saving money and you'd be shaving off term.
Mm-hmm.
So you're almost certainly giving up extra assets to make that deal happen.
But you also don't know like what Cal can do
Exactly.
as a start. So it's like,
so that's a lot of risk there.
there's a lot of risk with any deal that you can make right now. So I think
At this point in time, it is hard to win a Elvis Merzlikins deal because he could almost certainly go somewhere else and pop off and be worth the money and be a starting goaltender. But
or you could keep him and he could bounce back just fine. We don't know.
You'd hope.
In front of this defense, we have no idea.
Yeah. So.
But so back to the fun of the global series, right?
Yeah.
Like I said the other day, well, I was hoping for a split either way.
Mm-hmm.
And we know Jonas is in net, and that's great for him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it throwing to the Wolves, but it kind of is.
I feel like it is. Hopefully he can withstand it. I don't know.
Talking on the other side, though, with Colorado, it's like obviously Moose had his hat trick.
Yeah.
And you got both of the local kids in on the scoring action.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was really cool. Cale Makar, though,
yeah,
has been having some issues.
He's going to be just fine, but
he's going to be fine, but it's like he's been pretty snake bit, eh?
Yeah, and good to finally get that goal. So I could see him like taking this goal and then just going off for like the next few weeks.
Right. And then we had the weirdest goal we've ever seen in our life.
Yeah. Hell, even JT Comfort didn't score his first goal until yesterday. So
good for JT.
It's a really good team. They just won the fucking Stanley Cup. Like they're a really good team.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to be just fine.
It's the Stanley Cup hangover, and everybody's asking the question like, "Oh, is Colorado, a rough spot?" No, we're 10 games into the season after they won the Stanley Cup, and they're slightly above 500. They're fine. And
Tampa went to their third final in a row.
Yeah,
like
Tampa
Bay has played so much hockey in the last like 3 years.
Yeah, they've got to be exhausted
in such a short time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like there's no wonder they're off to the start that they are.
Yeah.
Right?
And we've seen that from them. We've seen them get off to slow starts.
But they figure it out.
Yeah, because they're really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
And I mean, for our sake, it's just a matter of watching our individual guys.
Yeah.
Right? That's where we are as a fan base, and that's where we should be.
We want to see Line succeed. We want to see some chemistry develop there between him and Johnny.
We want to see a center emerge for the two of them.
We want to see Yegor Chinikov continue his development. Kent Johnson, like that's kind of where we're at right now.
Cole's taking a step back, which we kind of expected.
We expected it. I'm not so concerned about it like long term.
No,
he's like not going to be a good. Like no, he's in a sophomore slump, which we kind of expected, and I kind of felt was going to happen after he got that goal called off against Carolina. I was like, oh my God, that's tough because he could probably use it to start the season. And
Right.
It's not coming for him right now.
And
But
then you want to see another step from Rosie. Like, I know he's like coming into his prime,
yeah,
but you want to see that consistency come up, right?
I've kind of just accepted it as an inevitability that he's not consistent, and you can live with it because we lived with that with Cam.
He'll
He's
still,
Cam but at center, right? Right? You know, like
yeah, he'll still potch you 20 to 25.
yeah, and the weeks that he's hot, he's gonna win you some games.
And how many times did we praise that last year? That when he scores in bunches.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times we mentioned that. Like he was almost a lock to score a second goal if he scored a goal. Like
Right.
you were either going to get 0 goals from him in 5 games, or you were going to get 2 goals and an assist for him the next game.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
But hey, the games that he did that they won more often than not.
Oh yeah, I mean, didn't they win his hat trick game last year?
Yeah, they won that in overtime. His after goal was the overtime winner.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful. That's great. But yeah, this is like, it's just nice that Columbus is like getting on the league's radar for something, for like some promotional material for once.
It is, and they're using their most marketable player, Patrick Laine, to do it. It's
It's a fit.
the importance of winning today is less about like the success of the season and more about future for promotions, isn't it? Because if you get
think
swept,
so.
if you get knocked around by Colorado, what motivation do you give the league, who already doesn't favor you, to ever put you in prime time for anything?
But you got to remember, like, the marketability of the individuals that this team has now. It's
I'm not convinced that Johnny Gaudreau like turns that over overnight.
Well, he's not going to do it overnight, no.
I mean, it's been an issue for 22, 23 years now, and I just don't expect it to change. You might get a couple more national games a year because of it. Like I'm sure like the broadcasts are like they're going to absolutely nationally televise this game against Calgary.
Oh, they have to. Well, they are. That is one of the 3 that we mentioned like way early on.
So
in the off season.
But I don't know. I don't think you're ever going to get significant primetime games unless you're a cup contender.
I mean, once they go on that first like big run, I think that's when you're finally going to start to see, hey, maybe we should give them a little bit more cookies, right?
Yeah, it was just frustrating with you make the playoffs 4 years in a row. You had a 50-win season in there. You upset Tampa Bay, who was a 62-win team. There were some really good moments in there. You had Artemi Panarin in that time frame.
Bobrovsky was red hot.
Bobrovsky as well.
Like, he won a Vezina in there.
Players, and it didn't feel like there was a significant jump in nationally televised games. And I think that's where my skepticism comes long term with this. Like,
well, because we talked about this, we went from 7 to 3.
Yeah.
Or we went from 7 to 10, and the 3 that we got are the only 3 that are going to be on like actual national TV. The rest are going to be streamed.
So like, yippee, right?
Yeah, it's just like, what other than a big run, what else can we do?
Not sure.
And
maybe move the team to a really big city, I guess. Like that's the only thing we could do for them. Or move him to Arizona. God. Move him to Arizona, then Gary will love us. But...
God, right? But I mean, hey, we're enjoying the hell out of this.
Huh. Hey, speaking of Arizona.
Yeah. So, how do I start this off? The Bruins made news yesterday. Don't know if any of y'all heard.
Yeah, they made news because they're really good and they're like 10-1 right now. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah. Be a shame if they signed like a really weirdly controversial prospect to an AHL contract.
I'm sure they didn't do that. Don Sweeney would never.
Don Sweeney. What a guy. Jeremy Jacobs, what a guy. Cam Neely, what a guy,
yeah,
right?
Jeremy Jacobs. I've heard nothing but the best about him.
And Cam Neely, what a what a
yeah.
delight,
No,
right?
no boys club here.
Okay. I have a lot of tweets. Where do I
Wow.
even start?
This is just, I gotta tell you, just to preface this,
Yes.
I'm an idiot.
I mean, we already knew that.
I am so unbelievably naive because I actually thought that there was no chance that he would ever get a contract. I am such an idiot for that.
Okay. Well, let me preface this by saying that the fact that they still did this is baffling in a way, but it is a Providence only contract. It's an AHL only deal.
Okay.
At the same time, though, Mitchell Miller.
Is it though? It says that it's an entry level deal.
Is it?
It's an entry level. Yeah, it's an entry level.
Well, he's reporting to Providence. I don't know if that immediately makes it a two-way deal, but
yeah, I'm
okay,
pretty sure it does.
So let's bring your favorite thing into this context.
Yes.
So the Mitchell Miller story, for those of you that are unaware, he is, he's a player.
Defenseman.
Young defenseman. He's only what, like 21, 22?
Yeah. Right-hand shot, offensively skilled. That's his prototype. He's a smaller guy, but
coveted kind of player.
Yeah, I mean he was committed to play at North Dakota, which is one of the top schools to play college hockey.
Yeah,
and he was a very intriguing prospect for his offensive abilities as a defenseman.
Yes.
That is the hockey aspect of this.
Yes. But the issue comes with the kind of person that Mitchell is.
Yeah.
This is from Frank Saravalli. Reminder of the facts.
We're only presenting the facts here.
Miller and another team, when he was 14 years old. This is when Mitchell was 14.
Yes.
He's 21 now.
Yes. So 7 years ago.
Miller and another team were convicted in juvenile court of bullying and abusing racially and abledly a black and disabled classmate. I believe he's on the spectrum.
Yes.
Isaiah Meyer-Crothers. This is the name we should be talking about more.
Yeah. I feel like to give people who've been talking about this credit, I do feel like there has been a lot of involvement with talking about Isaiah. More so than usual. I think
well, because his parents actually came out and said stuff this time as well.
Which is awesome. Yeah.
But to finish the tweet, black disabled classmate, Miller repeatedly used racial slurs, the N-word, and
he
things of that nature.
Called him Brownie.
Brownie is a weird one.
Yeah,
that's a really racial slurs, and forced him to lick a lollipop that they smeared inside a urinal. Yeah. Which, that's not just bullying.
So here is where second chances come into question. We talk about this all the time, second chances.
Uh-huh.
Playing in the National
Excuse me.
Hockey League, playing in the American Hockey League, playing in the ECHL, playing in any hockey league.
Playing professional hockey.
It is a privilege and not a right.
Yes.
And in order
being any professional athlete, honestly, but in this case, yes.
In order to earn that right, you obviously had to fit the mold in terms of, well, talent and output. But there also is a human element to it, like in life.
There are morals involved.
Yeah, at least there should be.
There should be. And with an organization like, say, Arizona, who originally drafted Mitchell, this is when they were having their entire shitstorm.
Oh, God. They were
back in 2020.
They were getting their ass handed to them in the PR game daily.
The financial issues, the arena lease, Chayka, what else was going on at the time? Like,
that was around the time that they brought in new ownership, right?
That was after Meruelo.
So, right. So, yeah, because that was the 2020 draft. So right after he first came in.
But he wasn't paying the lease. He wasn't paying any of the bills on time. He was forcing people to come into the office during COVID. Yeah,
real piece of work. He was just a brutal organization, right?
Weird environment. And I mean, at the time, Katie Strang wrote a brilliant article about it. You can go read it. It's an older article, but it's still like a wild read.
And let's be clear about what happened. Okay, let's be as 100% honest about what happened. The Arizona Coyotes did not have their first round pick. Right. And that was due to the whole
scouting with Chayka.
So they're desperate for prospects. They're about to rebuild again.
And his story had just come out prior to this draft.
So, yeah, they picked a very, very scummy player because he's talented and he was available in the fourth round. And they won it. They didn't do...
We've talked about the Logan Mailloux story. This is very similar.
They didn't do any research on it. They didn't bother to talk to the family or anything.
No, they didn't bother to talk to Mitch's parents. They didn't bother to talk to Isaiah's parents at all.
When it became public and they started to get criticized left and right for the decision, a week later, they were announced the pick and cited that Mitchell Miller had lied about certain things.
Specifically apologizing.
To me, it was the most transparent cop-out of all time. We're going to throw this shitty human under the bus, even though we're the one who picked him, because we're not liking the backlash that we're getting right now.
Right.
And it's the most convenient thing to do.
Right.
And here's the thing, Jake.
Mm-hmm.
The Boston Bruins did not talk to the family of Isaiah Myers-Crothers either.
Well, let's flash forward to this, right? So people have kept Mitchell on the back burner.
Yeah.
Right? The majority of media has still known. In 2020, he never apologized.
2021, he never apologized.
Only as of last week, he issued
apologize over Snapchat.
He wrote out a PR apology.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Quite literally said, "I don't believe you're sorry."
Let me pull this picture up because I've got juvenile court magistrate in Ohio. So here, because he's an Ohio kid.
It was in like the Toledo area, I believe, right?
Yes. Fucking figures. Magistrate in Ohio concluded that Miller had absolutely no remorse for his actions against Meyer-Crothers and was merely upset that his reputation would be damaged.
Yeah.
That is it.
Reminder that his sister came strongly to his defense in 2020 after he got drafted with some unbelievable tweets.
Now,
and then went private. Mitchell Miller's private on Twitter.
Do we want to get into Sweeney?
Real quick, I want to ask you a question.
Go for it.
Because I'm not sure what's worse here.
Well, it's like because we're trying to laugh at the same time as we're trying to.
Absurd it is. You know, we're not laughing at the scenario. We're just laughing at how absurd this stupid fucking sport is, right?
How are we supposed to change culture when it just won't fucking?
Sometimes some things are just so horrifically bad you can't help but just kind of let out a very nervous laugh, right?
Or like a hyena-esque laugh at just how stupid it is. So what's your question? Go ahead.
The Coyotes and the Bruins both did not reach out to Isaiah Meyer-Crothers or the family. My question to you is, what would be worse? Not reaching out to the family at all and signing the player, or reaching out to the family and talking to the family and still signing the player? I'm genuinely not sure which one's worse.
I think for me, if it were me, right? It would be worse for me if they reached out and did it anyway.
Yeah.
Which,
a lot of people are criticizing the Bruins and the Coyotes for not reaching out to the family, and I'm sitting here like, well, wait a second. If they reached out to the family and still signed him anyway, I almost think that's worse.
Well, yeah.
You took the time to hear this kid's side of the story and how
at least the mothers, because because there are receipts from a conversation with his mother.
Yeah. The trauma that has happened to this kid.
That as of, again, it's only as of a week ago that he made an apology in the biggest of air quotes.
Yeah.
Just so he could get signed.
Yeah, just so you could get a deal. And the other thing that really bothers me, and we're going to get into this with Don Sweeney.
Yeah.
Is I kind of have to wonder what the players are thinking. I know we got the
and we'll talk about that too. There's
where he said that some of the players just asked him straight up, why?
Well, Bergeron had a video as well. He had an interview with Frege. I watched the snippet. I didn't watch the full thing. I watched the little snippet.
Patrice Bergeron said all the right things.
As he should.
Does he not also at the same time sound fucking pissed off?
Oh, dude. He absolutely does.
Here, and this is where like dominoes start to fall a little bit here, because I'm going to tell you right now, Krejci and Bergeron, both right now, the team is 10-1.
Yes.
Both of them right now have to be kind of sitting back and wondering in their head, like, why did I come back for this? If this is just why did I come back?
If they're going to make a move like this,
if I'm David Pastrnak, who does not have a contract beyond this season,
I wouldn't stay.
Why should I sign with the Boston Bruins after this?
Why would I stay when I'm...
Now, I'm not going to criticize the guy if he stays.
Blossoming in my prime.
You know.
Like...
But I know the Boston Bruins have built a very, very pristine locker room culture. And a lot of that's first run. They don't do any rookie hazing, even minor things. They don't call... They
don't even say rookie.
Yeah. They have built a very, very family-like atmosphere there. And I'm sure part of the reason that they made this signing was because our locker room culture is so pristine. We believe that we can
imagine this falling apart. The stuff that Chara and Patrice and Krejci and Marshy.
Because you cannot hear the 100% unfiltered opinion of a Patrice Bergeron or Brad Marchand or David Krejci or David Pastrnak, any of those guys. You can from Zdeno Chara.
Yes.
He's under contract. I would love to hear what Zdeno Chara has to say about the Boston Bruins signing a player like this after he worked so damn hard with Bergeron to build that locker room.
I'm going to stop you right there. He's not a fucking player.
Exactly. Oh, wait, for
Miller.
Yeah.
He's not a player.
We're not talking about the player right now.
We're not talking about the player. We're talking about the person.
Yeah.
Who did this when he was 14. You would know better if you would know better if you were 14.
I hate the whole, well, I mean, he's 14, you can grow up. Like, Jake, I understand that argument if you have a controversial tweet in 2015 when you're 14 years old, or if you're tweeting out song lyrics that have bad words in them, and
if you're tweeting swearing lyrics and you don't know,
well, we know what specific word I'm referring to, right? Like, if you have a tweet that's homophobic or xenophobic or something like that when you're 14 and you're ignorant,
you don't quite know what these concepts are yet.
Yeah, and you're trying to be crude and funny. Like, I understand, being a dumbass at the age of 14 and maybe saying things that you're not supposed to. I bet you were. Totally forgive that. 100%.
I bet you were a part of that. I'm kidding.
Like, I get that, right? I'm not going to kill people over things that they said when they're 14, 15 years old, because you can't grow from that. But this isn't some bad tweet where you tweeted, or even in a hockey game, like, oh, I'm 14 years old and I said something I shouldn't have said to an opponent.
Yeah, I chirped somebody the wrong way.
Yes. That's not what this is. I absolutely hate that the Bruins and Mitchell Miller,
because the Bruins have
seem like a one-off, that this is a singular thing that happened.
It's not.
This was a continued pattern of behavior for years.
For 7 years.
Yeah. You talk about the whole lollipop thing. It's not that that's the only thing that happened. It's that it's the most notable thing that happened. It's the most inhumane thing that happened. And that's the thing that's important to cite here.
Yes, there are multiple. There's the name calling. There's the swearing. There's I'm sure he got beaten up multiple times.
He said that he beat him. Like, I am a believer in second chances. I am. But first of there's two main factors that come into second chances in sports, in my opinion. One is the severity of what you did.
Right.
And two is, have you shown any remorse, growth, etc.? And I can confidently say that this is one of the most disgusting and inhumane things I've ever heard in my life an athlete do.
Yeah.
And he has shown zero remorse for it. There's no way in hell he deserves a second chance.
No. And let's say this. The Bruins culture, because it's Boston.
Yeah.
The Boston Bruins, the Boston Celtics, the New England Patriots,
the Red Sox,
the Boston Red Sox. They're all historical, cultured franchises.
Yes.
They have pristine model,
Yeah, the Celtics, Red Auerbach. You think about their history and how many championships they've won, and you think about how Bill Russell,
You think
right?
about Bill Russell, you think about Larry Bird, you think
Yes, absolutely. And then you go to the Red Sox. The Red Sox have been unbelievable for over 100 years. They're a historic franchise for a reason. Ted Williams and all those guys, right?
Babe Ruth, David Ortiz.
Yeah, Big Papi, like Pedro, like unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
The New England Patriots, Bill Belichick, Tom Brady,
Tom fucking Brady.
and,
Robert Kraft.
Yes.
Just like if we're talking about ownership, Robert Kraft.
One of the best owners in sports.
Yeah.
Like, and then you go to the Bruins, and you think about all the players who played for them and what they've tried to build. And you know what I can't stand?
You want to know the first name that I thought of because I kind of
William Reed.
Yes.
They just
retired his number.
They better not bring him out.
We covered his number
or
retirement
anything like that to promote to stand against racism and to promote black men in hockey, people of color in hockey. They better not trot out Willie O'Ree to try and cover up for this debacle.
No.
And it is absolutely shameful that they are relying solely on the leadership group, particularly Patrice Bergeron, to speak on what they just did.
Bergie said he was on the fence.
And let me tell you, Jake, he wasn't on the fence.
No.
On the fence is
what else? Yeah. What else was he supposed to say?
He didn't want it. He didn't want it. But the fact of the matter is, this is probably his last year in the National Hockey League. So he's probably not going to have to play with the guy anyway. That's what happened. Bergeron's not 29 years old. This is probably his last year in the league. Same with Krejci.
Yeah.
So he wasn't on the fence. He was probably very much against it. But at the end of the day, what are you going to do? I'm not going to be here next year.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get to Don Sweeney real quick.
Some of some all-time
the 2 tweets from Ian McLaren. Right?
Yeah.
This is beginning of his presser.
Mm-hmm.
I can't, and I quote tweeted this. I shared this with you. I love the way that we reacted to this because we both laughed and screamed bloody murder.
Yeah.
Quote, I can't categorically tell you this was the right decision. Unquote. Then why the fuck did you do it?
Why did you sign him then?
Why the hell did you do this? Continuing the tweet. Also added he's not sure he'd be able to forgive Miller if this happened to his own child. Again.
Now
that just begs the question, why?
Here's 2 questions. All right. One is, why did you sign him? Obviously. Mm-hmm. But the second question that I think is maybe perhaps the more important question is, if this is actually genuinely how he feels, was Don Sweeney the one who wanted to sign him?
Was it Don? Was it Cam? Was it Jeremy?
Was it Cam? Was it Jeremy? Because
we know Jeremy Jacobs is like,
I think we've kind of come to realize over the last few years that Don Sweeney is a little bit of a puppet with those 2.
Yes, and Jeremy Jacobs, as far as ownership goes in the National Hockey League,
big piece of shit.
He's a top dog with Rocky Wirtz.
Mm-hmm.
Both are absolute, like we've seen this over the last year.
Yeah.
How much that needs to just get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, and Cam Neely and Jeremy Jacobs have done their best to create the ultimate boys club, right? Hilarious. One of the best locker room atmospheres in the entire National Hockey League. One of the best.
I just love seeing Tree's tweets about the boys club atmosphere that they have.
And you have a boys club at the top. It makes no sense. You couldn't find a bigger disparity between locker room culture for a team and
squeaky clean
office
and a front office that's just smoking cigars in Florida. And it's the weirdest disparity, right?
Yes, it's gigantic. It's night and day.
The second tweet from Ian here. Sweeney admitted, and this is big, that other teams were interested.
Yes, and he didn't even.
And if they were willing to sign him, why not? Now, this is interesting because, and I hate cutting you off like this.
No, but go ahead.
To finish this thought, they gave him, in order to land this kid, they gave him max money and term at the AHL level.
Yeah.
Like max bonus money.
Mm-hmm.
They gave him like everything under the sun that they could in order to get this kid signed.
Yeah.
What the fuck? So here's one of my I'm sure we've mentioned her a few times before, not often enough as we should. She's great. Josh Finishaw.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just click on her thing. She's the co-author of Game Misconduct, Hockey's Toxic Culture and How to Fix It. So she would know a thing or two about hockey culture.
Yeah.
At Ice Hockey Stick, you can follow her. She's awesome when it comes to like just telling it like it is with this kind of stuff, right? Here's a thread from her. This is what needs to be said about Mitchell Miller. Number 1, targeted someone who is disabled with racist and ableist abuse. Mm-hmm. We can't forget that this was racist either.
Yeah.
Like, forget that it's ableist for a second. It's racist.
No, it's unbelievably. I would argue that it's more racist than it is ableist. It's both, but I would say it's almost more racially driven than anything.
Yeah.
He would have done this to this kid even if he wasn't disabled.
If he was completely fine.
Yeah.
Racist abuse and the truly disgusting things he did to someone when he was 14 is not a mistake. Like we said, that's not a mistake at 14.
No.
It was a choice he made. It's not a mistake. Choice he made day in and day out. People at 14 years old know that's wrong. We just said that earlier.
11-year-old know that wrong.
I would. My little brother would know that.
Yeah, just like. Ugh.
Number 2, playing hockey is a privilege, not a right. He does not automatically deserve to have a spot playing it.
Yeah.
Number 3, there have been numerous examples, even today, yesterday, as of recording this, that he is still not shown remorse, yet people are still going to bat for this kid. Look inward and figure out why you are defending someone who consciously did something despicable and has not shown improvement.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah. So I'm going to finish this by reading what Cam Neely had to say. Let me try to pull this up better. Okay.
Real quick, what he said, like, about other teams being interested in signing him. If other teams are interested, why not? It doesn't it just kind of sound like a child when like they get in trouble, like with their parents are like, well, other kids are doing it.
It sounds like a high school behavior, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Sounds like, but the cool kids are doing it.
15, 16 years old, and you're going out to like a high school party, you get drunk off your ass, and your parents
get an underage drinking kind of thing.
But other kids are doing it.
But my friends are there.
Yeah. So like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So to finish this, again, we're condemning this, and you should too. Absolutely.
I feel like condemning might be like the softest word possible for.
Is it?
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, I don't know what word is appropriate here, but
damning at the very least.
Yeah, I just
damning, castrating. I don't know.
Like I said, I believe in second chances, but you have to show improvement. And...
Let me read what Neely had to say.
Mm.
Representing the Boston Bruins is a privilege we take seriously as an organization, said President Cam Neely. He's their president.
Mm-hmm.
Respect and integrity are foundational character traits we expect of our players and staff. Prior to signing Mitchell, our hockey operations and community relations groups spent time with him over the last few weeks to better understand who he is as an individual and learn more about a significant mistake he made when he was in middle school. During this evaluation period, Mitchell was accountable for his unacceptable behavior and demonstrated his commitment to work with multiple organizations and professionals to further his education and use his mistake as a teachable moment for others. Oh my God, the run-on sentences in this thing. Like, you can hear me running out of breath, right?
Yeah.
The expectation is, finish the quote. The expectation is that he will continue this important educational work with personal development and community programs as a member of the organization. End quote. So, what do you glean from that?
I mean, it's a lot of it's a lot of word soup.
Yeah. I mean, again, you can hear me struggling with it. Oh, look at that. Bergeron's trending. I wonder why. Man. This kid. I have no, like, my stomach hurts right now just because it's early in the morning and I'm hungry, but it hurts because he's not a fucking adult. He's 21, but he's not an adult.
Yeah. Far from it.
Far from it. And I hate
read this quote.
Do you want to? Should we give him the light of day with this?
And there's a reason I want to read it.
Yeah.
When I was in 8th grade, I made an extremely poor decision and acted very immaturely, Miller said. I bullied one of my classmates. I deeply regret the incident and have apologized to the individual. Since the incident, I've come to better understand the far-reaching consequences of my action that I failed to recognize and understand nearly 7 years ago.
Have you?
I strive to be a better person and positively contribute to society.
Do you?
So there's two things.
You heard me, right? Like,
just has to go out of his way to mention that he was in 8th grade.
Yeah.
Because 8th grade sounds almost younger than 14, right?
8th grade is 13, 14.
13, 14. So, like, but when you hear 8th grade, I don't know, there's something different about 8th grade and 14 that, like...
Versus, like, freshman in high school, right?
Right. So, mentioning that's strategic, obviously.
Yes.
Also, in the statement, what I mentioned earlier, I deeply regret the incident.
The incident.
It's not an incident. It's not. It's a repeated pattern of behavior for years.
Because the only thing that keeps getting brought up is the toilet thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing that he's even remotely recognizing.
He pleaded guilty at age 14 to 1 count of assault and 1 count of violation of the Ohio Safe Schools Act. He and another teenager were accused of making a 14-year-old, Isaiah Meyer-Crothers, eat a candy push pop after wiping in a bathroom urinal, and surveillance video showed them kicking and punching him.
Makes me want to throw up listening to the details of the toilet thing.
Yeah. And so here's the quote from Isaiah back in 2020.
Okay,
it hurt my heart, to be honest, he told the newspaper. It's stupid that the Coyotes didn't go back and look at what happened in the past, but I can't do anything about it. Doesn't it just break your heart?
And the fact that his mother had to go on record to say that Mitchell never said anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then when you hear from Mitchell's mother,
mm-hmm.
all she says,
"Oh, boys will be boys."
Yeah. So I guess it just runs in the fucking family.
Yeah, no, that apple doesn't fall that far from the tree.
No.
Well, yeah, no. Boys will. You know what boys will be boys means? boys will be boys. The actual like meaning of it, like what it's
Yeah.
actually meant for, is like when you and your boys go outside and you're playing football and you get muddy as shit, and then you track the mud inside the house. Oh, boys will be boys. It's not for when you're 14 years old and you're bullying the shit out of a black kid, or when you're underage and you sexually assault someone, or even overage and you sexually assault someone. This is not boys will be boys. Boys will be boys when you're dicking around with your friends.
Boys will be boys like implies an innocence to it.
Yes, like an actual genuine innocence of like, oh, you did something stupid, but like, stupid as in like, oh, you tripped your friend, while you were walking to the bus because you thought it'd be funny.
Stupid is I clotheslined you in a game of Red Rover by accident.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I've been there. Like,
boys will be boys as we're going out go-karting and we're just going to crash into each other the entire time.
Right.
That's what that is.
It's like
way different from what people are trying to make boys will be boys is. I don't know about you. Been a boy my entire life. Same with you. Don't remember ever doing any of those things.
No, never.
So, just that's my take on it.
I guess boys will be boys.
Boys will be boys is when you make a podcast with your buddy and you make a bunch of dumb jokes on it.
I love you, man.
Make just a bunch of stupid puns, like
boys will be boys and the boys club will be boys club.
Yeah, boys. Yeah, that's never going away. I feel terrible for Boston Bruins fans because
they shouldn't have to put up with this for their AHL team either.
Yeah. I know a lot of Bruins fans, and I not a single one of them were like, oh, we should give them a chance. Like, they were all like very, very, very upset yesterday.
What's her name? Katie?
Which one?
The really pretty one that like works for Bleacher Report.
Oh, Kaylee.
In Vegas.
Yeah,
Kaylee, right?
Yeah,
because she works for Vegas now, right?
Kaylee's really upset.
What did she say about it? Yeah,
she was pissed. Like really, really upset about it. My buddy Bryant, I can read you some of his texts. He was pissed.
Pete Blackburn.
Yeah, Pete Blackburn was pissed.
He went off. He went off in the only way that Pete knows how.
He said, dude, we're 10-1. We're the best team in the NHL by a mile. Why are we doing this? Everything is so positive right now. Everyone's behind the team. We're buying into the new coach, especially with how negative the offseason was with the Cassidy firing. To be this good and have the feeling around the team be this positive and to fuck that up. Why? I will never understand.
Don, you fucked up. Jacob, you fucked up. Or Jeremy, you fucked up. Cam, you fucked up. I fucked up saying that.
Yeah.
They fucked up. Big time. And if this doesn't get Don Sweeney fired, I don't know what will.
Here's the thing. I will never want this guy on this team. Even if he ends up being the next Cale Makar. That's the issue here. If he somehow ends up becoming elite, it's almost even worse.
Oh, yeah. If he's some scrub, it's like...
But then he's out of the league anyway, and, this all blows by. The issue here is if he becomes a good player and plays in the NHL.
Regularly.
Yeah.
Especially.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. But we got to move on. We're going to pause really, really quick, and then we're going to talk some slumps.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. That either like one of us has to go, like, yeah. It's usually a bathroom thing, like it always is with one of us, right?
Right.
At least like with these midway pauses, it's the
I was a big boy today.
Yeah, did you go?
Yeah, I did.
You're a big kid now.
I'm a big boy now.
Unlike Mitchell Miller. Okay, we're moving on. We're moving on. We're moving on. So there are two huge losing streaks that I want to talk about.
Some wild ones, right?
Weird ones.
Yeah.
And teams that, I mean, we talk about one team a lot because they're in our division, but
And
When
they've
did
been
we
great for like, I don't know, like 15 fucking years.
20, 30?
Yeah.
Uh, um, but the St. Louis Blues
Glad that
are
we're not the only blue team that's struggling.
no, we're not. They've lost 6 in a row after starting off 3-0.
So they're just a streaky team.
I guess it's weird though because like their first win comes against us, obviously, because I was like because their scheduling in the NHL is fucking perfect.
Literally. Yeah.
Like how weird was that? How the Blues started like 3 days after like
Yeah, are struggling right now, as we mentioned, and they both beat the Blue Jackets before they started to struggle.
well the Blues went 3-0, right?
Yeah.
And then now they've lost 6 straight.
Mm-hmm.
They actually let me see if I can pull up their schedule really quick just to see how this went.
Yeah. It's also interesting because like they're a team to watch because Ryan O'Reilly does not have a contract beyond the season.
Yes. Tarasenko wants out.
Yeah, I still don't know why they haven't traded him, like especially with 1 year left on his contract. You might as well.
So yeah, most teams started on like the 11th and 12th.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't start until the 15th of October.
Jeez.
Like what the hell?
Here's the thing. I just mentioned Ryan O'Reilly.
Mm-hmm.
9 games in, 1 goal, 0 assist, -12.
Oh, a minus.
Bad
Ooh.
start for him.
And when plus minus is that egregious this early, that's
like,
when
yeah, like I know plus minus is a flawed stat as we mentioned, but it's not flawed when you pay attention to this. They've also had some players out, like Buchnevich has only played 4 games. Saad has only played
3. Yeah.
Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou are not producing the way that
Jordan Kyrou is astonishing.
Yeah, he's struggling.
He is, we mentioned plus minus is a flawed stat.
Yeah.
He leads the league in the worst plus minus at a -15.
Yeah.
1-5.
Very much struggling in that. Grice is actually like he's played 2 games. He has a 9-15 of those 2 games, but they didn't win either of them. So like,
well, Binnington's doing Binnington things that he does when he doesn't get his fucking way.
So it brings up the question about the move that you made this off season. You committed to Binnington
over Husso. Yep.
You had to deal Husso, and right now Binnington is really struggling.
Husso looks way better.
Let me pull up.
So let me run through this.
Has a .934 save percentage.
Oh boy!
4-1 in 6 games with the Red Wings this year. 4-1-1, .934 save percentage, and a .217 goals against average with a shutout.
Wow! Good for Villy. Good for Villy. So let's run through their schedule really quick, right? So they beat us at home to start. Ugh, that was the first game I watched. I'm still pissed about that because I was at Roosters trying to enjoy my time there.
A cool establishment.
A fun casual joint, right?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
yeah.
And then they go on the road. They beat Seattle 4-3.
Oh, okay, so they beat Seattle.
They beat Edmonton in Rogers 2-0.
I'm assuming Binnington got the shutout that night, so
probably. But
then Binnington started off the season well. Like he had a good save percentage through those first 3 games of the season, but then like he's been horrific.
It's like what the hell happened? But then they lose a shutout loss to Winnipeg in Winnipeg 4-0. They lose
it by Hellebuck?
Probably. I can't tell here. I mean, yeah, he was first star, so yes.
Yeah.
Then they lose at home to Edmonton 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
They lost to Nashville in Nashville 6-2.
Oof.
And Nashville's been struggling on their own accord.
Yeah. That's a bad loss.
That's a tough one. Then they lose to Montreal at home, which let's give Montreal just a tad bit of credit.
They deserve some credit here. Yeah.
They're gonna fall off at some point, but like they're looking pretty good to start.
They're competitive, and that's what you want to see from a team like Montreal, and that's where you give the credit to Marty St. Louis is he has them in games that they might.
And Cole and Nick.
Yeah, those two as well. Yeah, sure.
Because those two both won the Molson Cup for this last month.
Yeah.
Which is some Canadian word for like best offensive player, right? No, most 3 stars.
Yeah.
It's like most 3-star selections or something.
I believe so.
Something like that. It's a fun little award that they do.
Yeah.
But and they were co-winners, which is cool. But yeah, they lost 7-4 at home to Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
That's a weird. Ooh.
I'm gonna give a little bit of credit here in Montreal's case too, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
2 goals, 7 points in 11 games for sole position of third on the Canadiens in scoring. Kirby Dach.
Yay, Docker! Oh, I love it.
Dach's actually playing well.
I love to see it. Good for Kirby, eh?
Yeah.
Love it. And then they lose 5-1 at home to the Kings.
Yeah.
And then they start November with a 5-2 loss at home to the Islanders. You're losing all these games at home by at least 3 goals.
Wow. So they really have something in common with Columbus.
Yeah.
Should be noted that they lost to the Kings. And the Kings have been struggling too.
Yeah.
So
the Isles are kind of finding a groove.
A little bit here.
Winnipeg is meh.
Here's the thing, like I don't want to take
No, I don't want to take anything because I mean how far can we get until we can stop saying it's early?
Usually we say some point past Thanksgiving. I usually go for like the 32 game mark.
Okay.
But just in the Islanders case, like they're 7-4 right now. They're playing well, but they haven't had the stiffest competition, which again, you don't choose your competition. You're given the schedule you're given.
Right.
But they beat a struggling Blues team. They beat Chicago. Chicago's not great. They beat Anaheim. They beat San Jose.
Like okay, those are teams you should expect to beat, right?
They beat the Rangers with Halak in that. Like,
oh,
they got outplayed.
Poor Yarrow.
They're 2 quality wins were their comeback against the Avs and their win over Carolina.
Okay, but we're talking about the Blues here.
Yep.
So this 6 in a row is friggin' brutal.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what the solution is here. I don't know if it's a situation where you have to make a trade or something.
Torrey Krug looks awful.
Yeah.
Torrey Krug is what?
This might just be the end of the Blues run.
He's another like double-digit minus, isn't he?
Yeah. Their defense is not very good.
No.
Krug's not great. Parayko isn't what we were hoping he would be.
Falk's not putting up his numbers.
Well, Falk's actually leading the team at scoring. He's just never been good defensively. So, you kind of take the good with the bad there.
Sure.
The defense just isn't very good. So, I'm not sure what you do there.
You're not getting what you need out of the 2 big guys you just extended. At all.
Yeah.
I mean, well, Thomas is doing his thing. He's about at his pace from last year.
He's got 7 points in 9 games. You know, he's not being a huge impact player that they were hoping, but he's been fine. He's
putting up a similar pace.
Yeah,
which is all right.
God, Kyrou is just giving him nothing.
Just poor Jordan. I feel bad for the dude because like how much of that is just like the bad luck?
You have 0 assists on the season. There's definitely luck involved with that. Because eventually someone you pass the puck to has to finish, right?
Oh, yeah. You gotta, especially when you're playing with guys like Vladimir Tarasenko and Braden Shen
And I'm interested to see, I mentioned Ryan O'Reilly. Like, do they extend him? What do they do? But if this continues, they got to trade. That might be a solution here. It's just trading Tarasenko.
Tara and maybe Roar.
Yeah. I would start with Tarasenko just because for a fact he's not going to be here next year.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be the easiest move that you can make to maybe spark things.
I mean, it's not like they have a great stretch coming up either.
Yeah.
Because the only gimme that I see on here within this upcoming week.
They play us again?
No, they're at home against the Sharks.
Oh.
That is on Thursday. But they start Monday in Boston, and it's a back-to-back Boston to Philly.
Oof.
That's a yikes. And then they get a day off before coming home, and then they get another day off before they fly out to Vegas.
Oh, God.
Day in between, fly out to Colorado. Yeah, and I'm just going to run through the rest of their November. Day in between, fly to Chicago.
Okay.
Probably get that.
Yeah.
But then you got to go home immediately after to play Washington.
Okay.
In a back-to-back.
Fine.
That's fine, I guess. Day in between before you host Anaheim.
Should win that.
And then you do it again 2 days later.
Mm-hmm.
You take a day off, you fly to Buffalo. That could be an interesting one because Buffalo's having fun.
Tage Thompson revenge game.
Tage revenge game. I like that. That'd be kind of fun.
He's so good.
Tage is doing like Tage and Tuck.
Yeah.
Are both off to some awesome stuff. And Rasmus.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, Rasmus Dahlin. Love this kid.
Are like sneaky big too.
I know because Tage is
like 6'7". Tuck
Tage is 6'7". Tuck is 6
Owen
like 4 or 5.
Is like 6'6". Matthias Samuelson's like 6'4". Like they're a big team.
Owen's looking awesome.
Dylan Cousins like 6'3".
Owen's sneaky. Like we thought he was gonna be like he's looking like the Calder favorite.
Yeah,
and yet he's like what 4th in the running right now.
Yeah.
Because like the most points is like Kalen Addison.
Yeah.
Like a tie with Kalen Addison and somebody else. KJ's 4th, tied with Perfetti.
Perfetti's good too. I really like him.
Yeah, I like Cole Perfetti. But Owen Power's doing his thing. Yeah. But then they get another day off before they have a back-to-back in Florida. They go to Tampa first and then they play the Panthers.
Okay.
And then they finish off the month going home to play Dallas.
All right. So this stretch up here is going to be big for them.
Yes.
You don't want to fall into where the Blue Jackets are at. Like hell, even 4-7 is a hell of a lot better than 3-8. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So like, you just don't want to fall too far down to where it's hard to get back up.
Right. And the Blues are, what are they sitting at right now? I just clicked off their page. 3 and 6. Right. Okay.
So just split your next two. Just split your next two and then go from there.
Right.
Or better yet, one.
My question to you is, could this be like nearing a hot seat for Craig Berube?
He just signed an extension, didn't he?
Oh, dear God.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. It's 3 years, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's another 3.
That's why I say, like, you're not going to fire your coach. So the best solution here might just be to make a trade.
Mm-hmm.
But be patient. It's only 9 games. So, like, see how the next 6 games go and then make a decision.
Right. Because we said this with Lars, right? Like game, and we've said this with Babcock and Keefe. We said this with Keefe now.
Leave no doubt.
Leave no doubt. Give it till like game 20 or so.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
you don't want
I mean...
a move just because you're...
For the sake of making a move.
Yeah, like, 6-game losing streak, obviously not great, but, sometimes teams lose games, and sometimes you go on a little bit of a losing streak. You got to get it back. You want to make sure that this season doesn't slip away in the first 15 games of the season.
Right, and especially when your goal differential is getting as gaudy as this is, like Columbus is too.
Oh my God, Columbus is just brutal.
Like it's so.
They haven't lost a game by 2 or less.
Oh my God.
We've lost 8 games. We lost 6 of them by 3 goals, 1 of them by 4, 1 by 6.
That blowout versus New Jersey is really going to haunt me.
Really?
And
You weren't there.
No, I know. It should haunt you more. That's what I'm saying. Like, oh my God. But it's still just like thinking about it because remember 7 different Devils, man. Mm-hmm. And they just had another game where they put up 6 with 6 different guys.
Dude, the Devils are fucking nasty.
They're amazing.
Yeah. It's amazing what coaching can do. And, give Lindy Ruff a lot of credit for his ability to be flexible and bring in a guy like Andrew Burnett. And
well, you said this last time.
Collaborate, yeah. And it just continues. They're fucking awesome.
We got to get on Devil State and just seriously, like Neil, we got to get in touch, buddy.
They are so much fun to watch. Even when they don't win games, they're still fun to watch.
Well, yeah, because they're young and wild
and they just outchance you. They're like, we're going to just outplay you. We're going to outwork you. We're going to outchance you, and we'll leave it up to fate. And more often than not,
you like my hesitancy on the reference there?
What?
Young and wild and free.
Oh.
So the other team that's really struggling, our big boy rivals, the Pittsburgh Penguins, are also on a very similar 6-game losing streak.
I don't think it'll last.
No, it shouldn't.
Tristan Jarry is a very good goalie. Casey DeSmith's a good backup.
Casey's fine.
They have good pieces offensively.
Obviously.
The concern is the defense more than anything.
Dude, their defense isn't putting up any points, and they aren't looking good structurally either. Like, they're not doing anything right.
Major drop-off for Brian Dumoulin. Major drop-off right now, at least to start the season for Chris Letang.
Yes.
And on top of all of that, you traded away John Marino. That might go down as one of the worst Penguins trades.
Well, they started this after they whooped our asses, because of course this happened after they beat us.
They always do, so I'm not surprised by that.
So right. So they come into Columbus and they beat us 6-3. Then they lose 6-3 to Edmonton in Edmonton and on a back-to-back in Alberta. Mm-hmm. So the day after they went into Calgary and they lost 4-1.
Yep.
Couple days off, they go to the Pacific Northwest. They start in Vancouver and they lose 5-1.
Okay. So lost by 3, lost by 3, lost by 4.
And I'm pretty sure that was the night that Petey had 5 points.
Yeah.
Whew. Good for Elias. I like that.
Petey's playing well right now.
And so can we give Bo Horvat some fucking credit?
Yeah, Bo Horvat looks great.
10 goals, dude.
Yeah. Oh. Vancouver's gonna find it.
I hope they find it. Like that, they're a team that we like looking at.
Yeah,
they're a team that we like cheering for out west, right?
What was their next game?
So what's next? It's another. They had the back-to-back in Alberta, and then they had the Pacific Northwest back-to-back, where they played Vancouver, then Seattle the next day.
Yeah,
and they lost that one 3-1.
Oh, so they lost that one by 2.
So they only lost that one by 2.
But they're losing on average by 3.
Yeah. And then they take a couple of days off. They come home to play Boston. They lose that one. They lost that one in overtime, though, so they got a point.
They got a point, but they were up 5-2 in that game, weren't they?
I don't know.
That was a game.
Oh, that was the Carnival, right?
Yeah. That was a game that they were like leading like the entire time, and then they blew it.
And then they completely blew it and lost 6-5 in overtime. And then the next day, and this is hard because you had to travel for this one. Very next day, you're in Buffalo and you lose 6-3. So you start off with a 6-3 win, you end the stretch with a 6-3 loss.
So they were up 5-2 midway point in the second period in that game.
Against the Bruins?
Against the Bruins.
Okay.
And then with
it's been a weird Bruins-centric episode, hasn't it?
Yeah. 1:17 left. Taylor Hall tied the game, and then Hampus Lindholm scored the overtime winner.
Oh, Hampus, baby. Attaboy. Attaboy, Hamp.
Tristan Jarry faced 40 shots in the loss.
That's the tough thing is they're like both the Blues and the Penguins are allowing a lot of 40-plus shot games.
Their defenses aren't good right now. Tristan Jarry and Casey DeSmith both had 904 save percentages.
Oh,
so much more capable than that.
mm-hmm.
And that to me just feels.
Oh my God. Buffalo scored 5 in the third.
Yeah. They're
5
period.
5 unanswered in the third. Wow. That was just a total implosion.
Yeah.
What? Wow.
Now, in Pittsburgh's defense of that 3-goal loss, 2 of those goals were empty netters. So it's not like the other 3-goal losses. But yeah, they blew it.
That's a huge okay. And I guess we're just gonna go through the same thing we did with the Blues. So tonight is their next game, and it's at home against the Kraken. That's winnable.
That's a very winnable game. That's a game that I expect. They're actually favored to win that game. So, Vegas believes they should win that game.
Do you know who's starting? Whether it's going to be Jonesy? It's got to be probably Grew, right? Because Jones got the shutout in the last game that they just played.
Let me see. Seattle Kraken. Here's what you need to know. 3 essentials. Let's see.
Doop-a-doo. Waiting on that. This 3-game road trip looks interesting.
But yeah, just keep going while I look for it.
Yeah. Okay. So they get a few days off. Literally, they get 3 whole days off in between games.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot of rest before they head to Washington. So we get a Crosby-Ovi matchup there.
Yeah.
Take a day off. They go to Toronto and Montreal back-to-back.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get a couple days off before they go home to host Toronto. Day off, go to Minnesota. Day off, go to Winnipeg. Back-to-back, travel to Chicago. Couple days off to host Calgary. Get a day off on the 24th. 25th, they're in Philly. Then home against Toronto again. And then they get a couple days off before they wrap up the month hosting Carolina.
I haven't seen anything yet.
Nothing on the Kraken starter. All right. Yeah. I'm just going to assume it's Grubauer. Because I think Martin played the last one.
He did, because he got the shutout.
Yeah, okay. So I'm assuming it could be Gru.
Yeah.
Tonight.
They just, the only thing I've seen is just Jared McCann skating on PBG paint ice right now. That's it.
Good for Jared. Get some reps in the old barn, right?
Yeah, exactly. But your logic would hold that it's probably going to be Grubauer tonight.
Yeah. This is a very, friendly schedule in terms of just them getting rest.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's good for them. They need to take advantage of it.
Especially the 3 days in between tonight and their next game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they'll bounce back.
I'm more confident that the Penguins will bounce back than I am the Blues. Mainly because the Penguins are in a better position than the Blues are to begin with. And there's more firepower, and I believe in the goalie more.
I believe in Tristan Jarry more than I do Jordan Binnington.
And the defense for the Penguins hasn't been good, but
they're enough there's enough of an established core there
Mm-hmm.
to know what you can get on both ends from them. Right? But you need you need to pick up the slack from Chris Letang. You need the offense coming from him. You know, you need to see Dumo shutting guys down.
Which he hasn't, so you need to see that from him.
I think you made a really good point that they missed Marino.
And that was the whole thing. They wanted to make the move because they got a younger defenseman in Ty Smith who has all the tools. They're going to try and mold them together. And with the cap space, they went out and they got Jeff Petrie. But, I mean...
older, slower, isn't doing much of anything.
I think John Marino is a better defenseman than Jeff Petrie. I didn't understand it. And there's got to be some regrets there for the Penguins.
It's kind of funny that I keep forgetting that he went there.
Yeah.
And the same with Jan Ruda. Like, Jan Ruda's not really doing much of anything either.
Yeah, there's only so much he can do. He's a third pair defenseman.
Really and he's normally playing with who? Like, Ruedel?
I think so.
I want to say Ruedel's in there more often than not.
Yeah.
Because I don't know who they rotate in and out on that bottom pair. But, I mean, does that really matter?
No, and I know plus minus isn't everything, but Rude is actually your best player in plus minus. He's +8.
Oh, boy.
Marcus Pettersson's good. He's
Pettersson, that's who I was thinking of.
But Petrie's an even. Letang's -8.
Oh, Chris. Oh, buddy.
Dumo's struggling. Like I just
Dumo's got to be what, like a -6 or 7?
Huh?
Dumo's got to be what, like a -6 or 7?
Only -3.
Only -3. Okay, that's better than I thought.
Yeah,
but he's not doing his job either.
No, he's still just like my test. He's not doing what he usually does. And he's in a contract year. That's rough.
Yeah, that's
pick that up for that too. You gotta get your money, man.
And Chris just signed his extension.
Yeah.
Right? Him and Gino got the same exact deal, and they're both not really doing their thing.
Oftentimes, it doesn't end with a bang. It ends with a whimper. And I still think the Penguins are a playoff team this year, but
they're going to perennially push until Sidney Crosby cannot play anymore.
Yeah,
they're going to push for something until this guy can't play, and then they're going to find themselves in another 2002 kind of situation.
Mm-hmm. The regression's just extreme with them right now.
Imagine, hear me out. Imagine this continues and they bottom out and they get Connor Bedard to be the next Crosby heir. Like, you had Crosby as Mario's heir, and then you get Connor Bedard as Crosby's heir.
No.
You just gave me the straight up Jesse Blake no.
No.
I know it's not going to happen.
No.
I just...
No.
Is that too much of like an evil empire kind of thought process?
Far too much.
What if Edmonton does it?
That would have to be a
severe fuck up in order to be like...
Yeah. That would be stunning.
I don't know. Because that whole sweepstakes is pretty enticing for the people that are on a slide right now.
Do you know any hockey teams that are on a significant slide right now that could really use a franchise-altering center?
I mean, there is one that I don't want to admit.
Yeah.
There's one that I don't want to admit.
The Arizona Coyotes.
Yeah, enough about the hockey. My birthday's tomorrow as I'm recording this, man.
Happy birthday, bitch.
Thank you. Hey, Yeah, I don't really have too many plans for it. I talked about this the other day.
Nothing wrong with that though. Chill, man. You just relax at home.
I gotta work.
Oh fuck, that sucks.
I got a shift at work.
Man, they give
And
you shifts on your birthday.
yeah, I mean that happens when you turn your mid-20s, right?
Pain.
You know what's funny?
What?
24.
You know what's even better than 24?
25.
Yeah, baby. Let's go.
I know we made that same exact joke the other day, but like, come
Yeah,
on, man, we can't help it. Can't help it. It's a classic. But I am just to finish this. Like, I do have plans,
Good.
but it does stink as well. Turning the clocks back.
Is that where we get more sleep?
No,
Oh, fuck me.
no, we lose an hour now.
I thought we gain an hour. Like we fall back, spring, like that's spring.
Fall
forward.
back, spring. It was always weird to me.
I don't know. I never really noticed, unless of course I was losing sleep. I'm pretty sure fall back is where we get an extra hour.
It's fall back when we gain the hour. Can you look that up? Well, because can I mention this little tidbit real quick? Because this is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
This is the last time we're ever really doing this as a country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because this is the last time we fall back. And then once we spring forward, come like March or whatever it is, we're just sticking to that time. So once we spring forward in March, we're just done.
Yeah. We gain an hour.
Oh, we get okay. That helps me.
Hell yeah, let's go.
Okay, that's a lot better. I thought we were losing an hour, and I got scared.
Happy birthday!
Extra hour of sleep before I go out for breakfast.
So kind of me to give you this extra hour of sleep.
So kind of you, right? As we do the show in the morning.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So
we do it in the morning so I can watch the Buckeye game.
You can watch the Buckeye game. I can just tune in to trying to keep track of the Blue Jackets.
Yeah,
I still wish I had a way to watch this still, because like my typical.
I'm just gonna scoreboard check and be like, it's the worst when I go into Yahoo and I just look at the score and I'm like, ooh, and then I look down and they haven't updated the score, but I see one goal against and I'm like, oh shit.
It's like right, yeah.
Happens all the time.
No, I know. So I'm going to breakfast / brunch with my mom's, like my mom and like regular biological step family. Like I think my step grandparents are coming, which is interesting. I've never been to this place before. It's called Another Broken Egg Cafe. So
Sounds like you get eggs.
It's got like it's got like your typical like pancakes and French toast kind of stuff, but it also does like the omelets. It does like interesting, weird kind of stuff, like brunchy stuff.
What did the egg say when he was drunk?
Oh no. What did he say?
Omelet.
Oh, Jesus. Hold on, I want to look up this menu really quick because I know we're just shooting the shit, but like I want to see this now that I'm trying to another. Oh my goodness, let me type Another Broken Egg Cafe. Let me pull up the website, please. Oh my goodness. That pun was actually fairly decent. I'll give you that.
Thank you.
Cafe menu. Okay, so they do like like Benedict stuff. Like Eggs Benedict kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And they do like a shrimp and grits.
Shrimp and grits. Ooh.
They have crab cake Benedict. Smoked salmon Benedict. They have scrambler things. They got chicken and waffles.
Oh, there you go. That's my anytime I go to a breakfast place that they have chicken and waffles, that's what I get. Doesn't matter what else is on the menu. That's always what I get.
They have shitload different kinds of pancakes and
Got
waffles.
some chicken and waffles for your boy, man. They never let you down.
I don't know, because I want to try. I think I might want to try one of the Benedicts or something, man. I don't know.
Yeah, you should probably do that.
Because I've had like chicken and waffles from like college, and they're awesome.
It's good.
But it's
God,
just
I
like I
want
want
chicken
to.
and waffles now. I'm so. I don't know if I told you when I went to New Jersey. Like me and my girlfriend went to this diner.
Uh-huh.
twice. Like
The best
once-
places you get shit are like little diners and cafes
Yeah.
like this, right?
We went to the same diner twice, and I got chicken and waffles both times, and they were so
Ooh.
good.
This supreme omelet sounds pretty good because it's like sausage, bacon, onions, mushrooms, cheese shoved in there.
Yeah.
Ooh, this one sounds wild. Lobster and brie omelet.
Ooh.
That sounds expensive and fun.
That sounds
I'm not gonna do. Sounds like another broken egg. And then they do like, yes, I heard what you said. And they do like the burgers and stuff. I just like, I'm so done with you, but I love you. And and we'll see y'all on Tuesday after the Global Series. We'll probably do like a more full recap of that.
Yeah.
And who knows, timing wise, THPN stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm sure we'll have further discussions within the next 2 days about it.
We'll figure this out, people, and we're growing.
Yeah, baby. Let's go.
We'll see you later.
Day. Have a great birthday. I'm gonna go
Thank you,
watch the
brother.
Buckeye game, but to all the listeners.
We love you. Good Jackets. Let's go.
Jake Jackets, a podcast for fifth liners and all puckheads around. Follow the guys on Twitter at Snake Garinger, GARRINGER, and at by J Ashdown. And subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen. March on.